And so let's talk about the changes that you saw on the method over the years, because you were there on the very start. Yeah. And you've been teaching until today. So what do you think that changed since the beginning? Well, how was the evolution of the method?
The interesting part, the really interesting part for you and for your audience is how little it changed in a lot of ways. The basic principles that he describes in that first textbook, which came out in 1980, haven't changed. His description of derangement, his proposed treatment of derangement, the division into dysfunction, the assessment process, his assessment process changed very little. What has changed a lot is we now, it's not centered as much on the disc. Unfortunately, a lot of people have associated McKenzie purely with the disc, which of course it isn't. And I suppose the areas that have changed the most, I would think, from the way that he approached patients. Now, let me make a distinction there. A lot of people would say, okay, well, McKenzie now has seen more of a biopsychosocial method. Well, as far as Robin's treatment went, it was always a biopsychosocial method. He just didn't think of it in those terms, but it was what he did and what he did with his patients was very much biopsychosocial. He was although he had no training in psychology, he was extraordinarily astute at understanding those issues when they presented in the patient. And he would invariably put them in the right place. So they would never get in the way of the assessment, but he was very aware that they were part of the issue. And he would structure his instructions or his treatment to the patient accordingly. So that part really hasn't changed a lot. We talk about it more, but in his practice, Robin pursued that as well as anyone now practicing.
And do you think that was intuitive for him?
I suspect it was. I think it was. He was an extraordinary observer of all aspects, clinical, and aspects of human behavior. He was very, very astute in that way.